Tens of thousands of people are protesting right now around the stadium. The president of the country has said, third warning, I'm sending in the police.
Because of the
protesters.
The guy, and is this the guy who won the party election?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is like all coming to a head right now.
Okay.
And what's happened is the former prime minister of the country, who is also the former acting president, is coming to America saying, hey guys, we're in deep yogurt over here. We need your help now.
It's basically a Brazil. What's happened
There you
in
go.
Brazil. Like the same
There you go.
deal, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
Except that they're our ally and our largest military base outside the country.
In South Korea.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting little
Wow.
doodad. Because are we going to let communism? Are we going to let communism take? So is the embassy there. So we're in a very interesting situation. And then the third thing I would add to that. The third thing I would add to that is that we have Morris Canada there, who's a former ambassador, Trump appointed himself during his first term, who's being held in Korea because of on a travel ban.
Oh, wow.
So there's like lots of things happening right now.
Wow.
The former Hong Kyo-han, he used to be head of a party that was the Conservative Party, but it became infiltrated and tainted. And so that party now is kind of like rhinoed out. That's like our worst rhino Republican party. That would be that. And he started a new party called the Freedom and Innovation Party. And yes.
Oh, wow.
And then you have Chu Hyun, who's been leading he's like head of the election fraud. He's me in Korea.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They invited me to go over there, and I was expecting to have to sit in a cubicle with computers and data and do all my funny, fancy stuff to find fraud. It was falling off the log. It's everywhere, including on election day, because they do their elections in the interesting range. They've got the NEC, which is running the country right now. It's the National Election Commission.
Yeah.
They didn't deliver enough ballots to all the precincts.
Yeah.
So the people all know they just got screwed, which is why it's happening. Because everybody knows. They said, we need more ballots. I said, nah.
Where isn't it happening at this point?
Exactly. And so they need our help. They're coming to America. They want to team up with Americans. They need help to save their country. That was it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
About as fast and extensively as I could put it.
Well, I'm going to get this one.
Well, I'm trying to equip him so that he knows what to do. I don't want to tell him what to do because I want it to be different. I want it to be his way.
뭐라고?
Just put that right here.
찾았어?
So now you can decide whether you want me or not because I've given you the document. But
야, 5분 안 되지?
You guys are recording too on the audio, or? Oh, they are. Okay, cool. Okay.
you're like, it's good. Yes.
Awesome.
밥 먹었어?
You're good.
John,
Don.
this is the key to the room.
Okay.
In case
에밀리 마트.
our host needs back in, I might be busy.
아네.
Oh, that's.
I just got this name 2 weeks ago. So.
Trump's great. You got
Costa
to
John.
That's true. That's true.
just back up audio. Since we got all the stuff that's wrong,
근데 전화해.
one more here.
Thank you.
on a personal note, during the last interview, Bannon said Morris Tan, the ambassador, it's the Tina Peters of Korea. And when he said it, it occurred to me, I just spent 2 weeks with Morris Tan witnessing what happened. And when I went into the airport, isn't it interesting that I was also the one with Tina Peters in my office? And they seem to be like in the right place at the right time. On a personal level. So I was using it in an interesting way. Always in the right place.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
I
strange.
love that. We are always
In the right place.
Always.
Yeah, exactly.
It just seems crazy when you do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It seems crazy. Yeah, it seems crazy. But they invited me, and I went out there and spent 2 weeks with them, and I witnessed everything. What other American witnessed everything?
Yeah.
And it's going to turn out to be really important.
I'd love to make it where you're kind of the, just like you just said, when I start the interview,
Okay.
I think if you introduce it as, I'll introduce, Dr. Frank,
Oh,
one of
wow.
our preeminent, election fraud experts,
Yeah.
and then start at the entry point should be your trip to South Korea,
Okay.
what you saw there,
Yeah.
and we'll just flow with it. We'll just do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
닥터
And I'll introduce
프랭크부터
Yes, yes.
And-
이렇게
and
한국 방문에 대해서 얘기를
I
하고
mean, what I'm saying
그
is you should
다음에
feel free to interject whenever there's
질문을
questions
드릴게요.
based upon oath.
뭐요?
응?
누가 질문을
That thing is like.
두 분 중에 한 명이죠.
아, 본인이 질문한다고?
잘 모르겠어요. 이렇게 프랭크가 될 수도 있고 저분이 될 수도 있고 그냥 자연스럽게 흘러가는 대로 하자고.
All right, so roll.
Yeah, really.
All right, so we are here at
The fraud fighter thing?
It's Fraud Fighter. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry again. All right, so we are here at the Fraud Fighter Conference. This is June 2026. I have Dr. Frank here. And Dr. Frank, why don't you tell us the adventure you've been on for the last couple of weeks and where that has led you?
So about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago now, I got a call from Mike Lindell, and he said, I'm sending you the telephone number for a translator in Korea. I want you to talk to her. We have a team of election experts, and we're monitoring the June 3rd election. They have their national election on June 3rd, and we'd like you to come and work with our team. And they have an expert team of fraud people there. Would you please come? And I agreed to go. And honestly, I thought I was going to be going there, sitting with my computer, downloading data, analyzing voter rolls like I do in America. But that's not at all what happened. Instead, Chu Hyun, the leader of the team, took me and gave me a tour of basically how their elections work. I observed their early voting, I observed the day of election, I saw how they run their whole election. So I could tell from beginning to end, which is not the right time now, but I could take you through the entire process of how they do their elections. So I was expecting and preparing and downloading data and spreadsheets and get everything ready so that the day of the election I'd be able to say, aha, gotcha. Except there's an organization there called the NEC, the National Election Commission. They majorly messed up. They botched the election day election. They didn't send enough ballots to all the provinces around the country. And so people were saying, well, send us more ballots. And they said, no, we're just going to count what we got. It was like brutally obvious election fraud, voter suppression. So it's not even like we had to come out and make an argument. We didn't have to come out and say, oh yeah, we have this sophisticated algorithm operating where there's like fraud. No, they just said, screw you, we're not going to count your votes. That's basically what happened. So the people, and I'm not talking about just a few, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people are protesting right now. They've come out of the woodwork.
Right this second, as we're sitting here,
as
there's
we're sitting here.
Wow.
And a key thing to understand is that there's a leader. I would say he's like the de facto leader, Won Kyo-an, former prime minister and acting president of Korea. He's officially my host while I was there. And he started the Freedom and Innovation Party. And he used to be head of the party that we would think of as like the Republican Party. But it's gone left. And so he left that and started a new party called the Freedom and Innovation Party. And that party is the de facto leader of this movement. And to give you a feeling what that's like, when you have like 50,000 people surrounding the Seoul Stadium, and they won't let any officials in or out. I could explain why that's happening there, but that's where they have all these ballots, and the people won't let the ballots out. They're saying, if you don't give us more ballots, we're not going to let you count any of them. The people have risen
Oh,
up. It's amazing. Well, we walk up with former Prime Minister Hwang Kyo-ahn, and it's like parting the Red Sea. The people welcome us in. They're chanting USA, USA. We go up, we stand at the front, and they love us, and they're desperate for us to intervene. So really, it was an amazing experience for me to see the people rising up to address elections. How long have I been working in America to make that happen? Okay, and here they handed it to us on a silver platter. So I think there's lots of history in this, and I don't want to get into that. I think we need to interview with Mr. Hwang, but that's sort of the context you asked me. That was why I was there, and it's been amazing to work with him. We have pictures of him, and we should talk about this. Maybe he can describe it a little bit. One of the small polling stations that didn't get enough ballots, that's kind of where it started. They said, we're not going to give you our ballots if you don't give us more. And all the people, they live in high-rises. They kind of live in communal high-rises. They all just came down and surrounded that building. Mr. Hwang went there and has led the movement. We have pictures of police pushing them around with shields and everything. So it's a pretty impressive thing. Non-violent, they're unarmed people. Even the police don't carry weapons most of the time. So I think, maybe we should ask Mr. Hwang. I think I'll give you the context now. And the reason he's come to America. Why don't we ask him that? Yeah.
Sir, if you don't mind me asking now, you've come to America for a reason. Can you tell us why you've come out here?
미국에 목적이 있어서 오신 걸로 알고 있는데 왜 미국에 오셨는지 알려주시기 바랍니다.
지금 대한민국은 자유민주주의가 무너지고 있습니다. 자유민주주의의 동맹이 함께해서 힘을 같이 모아서 대한민국을 지켜내자, 이런 취지에서 오게 됐고, 그 주 이슈는 부정선거입니다. 이번에 이제 미국에서 부정선거 파이터 서밋 열린다고 들었고, 또 그래서 이제 좋은 정보를 들었기 때문에 와서 지금 내가 대한민국의 부정선거를 통해서 나라 무너지는 것을 지켜내기 위해서 왔습니다.
If you don't mind me giving this to you, speak into that if you don't mind,
Okay. All right. I came here because the freedom of Republic of Korea is on the verge of collapsing. The free democracy of the Republic of Korea is on the verge of collapsing. So we want our ally, our closest and strongest ally, the United States, to be together with us so that we could fight together to save Korea. The biggest issue is election fraud. And since the Fraud Fight Summit that I am participating today and tomorrow also covers election fraud, I'm here to speak about election fraud.
우리 힘으로 다 해결할 수 있었으면 안 와도 될 것인데, 대한민국의 힘으로 한계가 있어서 이걸 지켜내야만 돼서 힘이 필요했는데, 그 큰 힘 중에 하나가 미국이었습니다. 이라고 판단했습니다. 또 마침 기회가 돼서 미국으로 와서 이런 서밋에 참여를 하고 있습니다.
If we could have fought against election fraud and protect the democracy, the liberal democracy of Korea on our own, we would have done it, but our efforts are limited. That's why we need the help from our strong ally, the United States. And I have come here because it was an opportunity of participating in the Fraud Fight Summit. And that is partly the reason why I'm here.
Actually, hold on to that. I'm going to grab this one for you. I'll just give this to
No
you.
worries, it's
Okay.
easier.
Yeah. So I'm curious, why is this? This seems to be a worldwide epidemic happening right now, because we've had this problem in the United States. We have Dr. Frank here, who's one of the experts that's been doing this for years in terms of uncovering the fraud. I've also heard other countries. I've heard countries in Eastern Europe. There was just I'm of Armenian descent. I just heard there was a election in Armenia, same sort of thing where they're convinced that there was fraud. Why is this happening in so many countries around the world? And is this do you think this is an organized effort to steal our elections?
왜 전 세계적으로 이렇게 많은 부정선거 사례가 발생하는 것인지, 미국뿐만 아니라 여러 나라에서 부정선거가 일어나고 있는데, 예를 들어서 제가 얼마 전에 아르메니아 동부 유럽에 있는 여러 국가와 및 아르메니아의 사람과 이야기를 나눴는데, 거기서도 부정선거가 의심된다라고 얘기를 했습니다. 그래서 전 세계적으로 왜 부정선거가 일어나고 있는지, 어떤 체계적인 구조 조직이 있어서 그런 부정선거를 일삼고 있는지 알고 싶습니다.
이 큰 틀에서는 중국이 부정선거를 통해서 세계 각국을 장악하기 하려는 그런 움직임이 있습니다.
In the big picture, China is using election fraud in order to take over countries.
그러니까 부정선거만 이뤄낼 수 있다면 자기들 마음대로 권력 시스템을 만들어갈 수 있는 거죠.
So through election fraud, they're able to create and maintain a system that they want through power.
그러니까 마음대로 나라를 주무를 수 있는 길이 있기 때문에 꿀맛을 아는 친구들이 이걸 그냥 안 먹고 공정한 경기를 할 리가 없죠.
So election fraud is an easy way to maintain and manipulate their place in power. So once they got the taste of it, it is obvious that they cannot let it go.
제가 보기에는 이런 일들이 2010년 즈음에서부터 시작되었습니다. 그런데 많은 사람들이 오래되지 않았기 때문에 잘 몰라요. 부정선거, 특히 이런 전자적 장치에 의한, 정자적 방식에 의한 부정선거에 대해서 잘 모르고 있어서 그냥 당하고 있는 겁니다.
I believe that election fraud began around 2010. A lot of people are not aware that election manipulation is carried out electronically. So, because people are largely ignorant, this election fraud is happening in many places.
So this is all coming from China, and that's a question, whether it's happening in the United States, whether it's happening in South Korea, other countries in the world. This is all coming from China, you think?
그러면 중국으로부터 부정선거가 왔다라고 말씀하셨는데, 미국이든지 한국이든지 전 세계 어느 국가이든지 결국에 그 문제의 근원은 중국이라고 말씀하시는 건가요?
저는 지금 현재 세계적으로 중국이 너무 광범위하게 움직이고 있다. 그리고 이것에 대해서 미국이 또 광범위하게 대응을 하고 있다. 이렇게 보고 있습니다.
At present, I believe that China is reaching extensively in all corners of the world in order to expand its power, and the United States is in return responding extensively.
So in South Korea, there's an organization based. It's called AWEB, AWEB, and Chu Hyun took me there and taught me about AWEB. I have several papers describing it. What essentially it is, it's the Association of World Election Bodies. They have 120 member countries, and it's essentially election fraud cartel. It's like, we'll teach you how to steal every election in your country. They've been exporting the electronic machines, the software, the strategies all around the world. That's why they all look the same.
And it's all originating from China?
Yes, and they use AWEB as their kind of distribution point because it's outside of the CCP, and so they can. You can fly a plane out of Korea every day, no big deal. And in fact, a lot of the ballots that have been reported to have been, and IDs that were printed, like last year, Kash Patel mentioned that 1 million fake IDs and 1 million fake ballots were seized outside of Detroit, and he says they were made in China. Guess where they shipped from? In other words, it's become like an international hub for election fraud and it's central control. So Korea is coming to America and saying, you guys, we need your help because they've taken over our government. We don't have any legal recourse, we have any government recourse, and Election Fraud Central is here. Please come help us. We'll help you. Let's work together. That's why they're here, to request that. Let's make this union. Let's make this alliance stronger.
So they built an alliance for this fraud, and now we're counteracting it here by creating an alliance to counter the fraud.
Yes, and we need Trump to help us with that. We need our federal government to realize, first of all, they need to know this is happening. It's not being covered in the legacy media at all, which is why they came. Because we're bringing it to the front, and we need everybody to know this actually just happened, guys. We shed 36,000 lives in South Korea to drive the communists back, and what they couldn't take back with bullets, they've now taken back with ballots. And we need to know that this is a real war, that it just happened, that we just lost South Korea. Are we going to fight this war? Are we going to engage it or not? That's why they're here.
Okay, I got a question here about this organization you're talking about. It almost sounds like there's undertones of the CEC, World Economic Forum. I mean, is that accurate in terms of they have this outside China force that is now trying to manipulate elections worldwide?
Yes, AWEB was founded and funded by guess who?
George Soros?
and by the NEC, which is the National Election Commission of which is totally corrupt in South Korea, and USAID was one of the big funders, which is why Trump got that back. So guess what? There's no surprise here, is there? We need to engage this war, which is why I'm here.
Wow.
Bringing these people here.
Wow. So, I mean, in the past, it was war was conducted with weapons, and now it seems as though they have changed the way they're conducting war against nations. So, would you consider, in better times in South Korea, would this be an act of war in terms of manipulating South Korea's elections through China?
예전에는 전쟁은 무기로 싸웠었는데요. 이제는 새로운 형태의 전쟁이라고 생각되는데, 이 부정선거를 통해서 그 한국을 통제하려고 하는 것을 전쟁 행위로 보십니까?
저는 전쟁 행위로 봅니다. 그리고 지금 대한민국은 체제 전쟁, 사회주의, 자유민주주의 국가로 지켜내느냐 또는 공산 국가로 가느냐, 그런 체제 전쟁 중에 있습니다. 여기에 저쪽에서 가장 유용하게 쓸 수 있는 것이 바로 부정선거죠.
I believe that it is an act of war. And today we are engaged in a war of systems, whether we'll fall into communism or protect free democracy. And our counterpart is using election fraud as its weapon.
예를 들면 문재인 정권이 탄생할 때 탄생한 이후에 그 처음 이제 그 총선이 있었는데 그 총선 결과 우리가 103석밖에 얻지 못했어요. 저쪽은 180석을 얻었어요. 이거는 역대 없었던 일이 불가능한 일입니다.
For example, during the Moon Jae-in leftist administration, there was a general elections, and the Conservative Party only won 103 seats, while the Democratic Party won 180 seats, which is unheard of.
그러니까 절대 다수의 의석으로 국회를 장악했어요. 그래서 자기들 마음대로 법을 만들기 시작했습니다.
As the majority party, it gained power over the National Assembly and was able to pass legislations.
they have a party system.
Sorry, the legislation is yeah.
They have a party system. So they don't just elect people, they also vote for a party. And then parties get numbers of seats. It's sort of like a parliament thing.
Mhm.
So they decide. And he's right. It's ludicrous that there could be a majority of left-leaning people in this parliament, and it's called the National Assembly, when 9 out of 10 people in the country are anti-communist. Yet, now it's dominated by people that are leftists. That's his point.
결국
And I think it's significant that the former prime minister of South Korea just said it's an act of war.
Mhm.
It's fifth generation warfare, absolutely.
결국 이걸 통해서 이제 자유민주주의를 무너뜨리고 공산국가로 만들려고 하는 것입니다. 너무 좋은 방법을 찾았어요.
Ultimately, they're using election rigging in order to topple free democracy and communize South Korea.
미국도 이제 좌우가 있지만 우리나라는 북한이 직접 침략해가지고 고난을 받았던 나라입니다.
Of course, there are people on the right and people on the left in the United States, but Korea is unique to United States because North Korea, the communist North Korea, had invaded South Korea and induced lots of suffering.
국민 대다수가 공산국가 되는 것을 반대하는데 이걸 이제 극복해내고 자기들이 정권을 찬탈해 갔던 것들이 바로 부정선거고 그 방법으로 사용됐던 것들이 이제 전자적 조작 이런 것들에 의해서 나라를 무너뜨렸는데 그 목적은 결국은 이제 우리나라를 공산화로 하려는 거죠.
So most Koreans do not want Korea, South Korea, to fall into communism. So that is why they're using electronic manipulation in election fraud in order to rig elections, in order to communize South Korea.
The media is a big problem over here in the United States. I mean, if we had a free and fair media and it wasn't just propaganda, our election fraud would have come to light much sooner. But it's been slow because the media does not cover these stories. How is it in South Korea?
언론도 큰 문제인 것 같습니다. 언론이 그 어떤 선전성 보도만 일삼고 자유를 억압하고 그랬기 때문에 부정선거에 대한 인지가 많은 사람들에게 도달되는데 이 시간이 많이 지연되었던 것 같은데요. 한국의 상황은 어떻습니까?
이제 소위 반국가 세력들, 나라를 무너뜨리는 세력들이 제일 먼저 장악한 것 중에 하나가 언론입니다.
One of the very first thing the anti-state forces that are behind election fraud, one of the first things that they took control was the press.
그 대한민국의 절대 다수 언론이 뭐라 그럴까 친좌거나 아니면 중립이라는 그런 입장에서의 좌파입니다.
Most of the press in South Korea lean left or say that they're neutral but actually leftist.
우리 우파의 중요한 메시지들은 언론이 지금 레거시 언론이 보도를 하지 않습니다.
And the legacy media do not carry conservative messages.
10,000명, 20,000명, 30,000명의 많은 사람들이 모인 집회도 아예 보도를 안 해요.
And it doesn't cover any news on rallies that number 10,000, 20,000, 30,000.
그리고 좌파의 집회는 1,000명만 모여도 그냥 대서특필합니다.
But for leftist rallies, even if they only have 1,000 people, they give it a full coverage.
그래서 국민들을 속여놓고서는 우파의 가치를 공유하지 않아요.
They're deceiving the people and blocking the values of conservatism from being shared.
Can you imagine? There are Can you imagine? There are hundreds of thousands of people out protesting, and it's not on the news. I mean, that's the legacy media there. It's very similar here. But they have a very active, one of the things that's different about their culture than ours is everybody's a podcaster. It's like they are all electronically talking to one another. So if you go on X, you'll just see, thousands and thousands of videos being taken. So they're sort of their own news, if that makes sense. Americans are more dependent on, tuning into their favorite podcaster once a day or something like this. But no, they're very active. And so that's a little different. So that's gaining fuel, which is why the government is now cracking down on that. And they just while I was there, they made it illegal for 18 and younger to be on X. Because
I gotta ask something about that because simultaneously, England, which is 16,
simultaneously.
yeah,
So you're starting to see this is not an isolated event. It's just the fulfillment of a color revolution. It's the fourth stage of a color revolution that's now succeeding. But it's the same thing happening everywhere else. What did they just pass in Colorado? They made it illegal to investigate elections. They made it illegal for citizens in Colorado to look into elections. That's what they're doing right now, next month in Korea. It's the same playbook everywhere.
well, I'm curious, how did the culture become one where conservative means, freedom of speech, freedom of press, yet the leftists are basically communists, and simultaneously that's happening all around the world. I mean, how do you think this came about where what's happening here, which is the leftists are communists, the conservatives want constitutional freedoms, and it seems like the same thing is also happening in South Korea.
그 보수주의 같은 경우에는 여러 표현의 자유를 원하고 또 언론들의 자유를 원하는데 왜 이런 가치들이 묵살되고 있는지 이게 보수주의가 강한 그런 국가인데 왜 전 세계적으로 이렇게 공산주의에 대한 그런 좌파의 영향이 더 거세지고 있는지 왜 헌법적인 자유를 지향하지 않고 있는지 의견을 듣고 싶습니다.
첫째는 싸우질 않습니다. 그러니까 소위 내 언론의 자유가 침해됐다. 이러면 사실은 싸워야 되거든요. 그런데 뭐라 한마디 하면 정부가 한마디 하면 지금 주로 좌파 정부들이 한 짓인데 한마디 하면 그냥 입 닫아버려요.
First of all, it's because people don't fight. So they need to... sorry. The first reason is because people do not fight. If their freedom of speech or the freedom of press is infringed, they have to fight. However, when the government oppresses them, they turn silent.
좌파는 거기에다가 위장 홍보 전략을 잘 써요.
And the leftist is good at propagandas, which are false.
그 용어 혼란 전술도 쓰고 그냥 귀에 혹한 말들을 계속 해야 됩니다.
And they coin words that sounds nice, and they also try to lure people with words and campaigns.
좌파는 계속 퍼퓰리즘, 무료로 공짜로 준다. 이거를 대놓고 있는데 심지어는 우파도 그건 뭐 좋은 정책은 아니야 이렇게 생각하면서도 그걸 받아들입니다.
And the leftists keep on offering populist policies, giving away money for free. Conservatives say that's wrong, but still they accept.
그래서 이런 것들이 좌파의 무기가 되고 우파에게는 위협이 되는 거죠.
So these are used as weapons of leftists and as threats to the conservatives.
그러나 이런 시스템은 이미 역사적으로 잘못된 것으로 판명이 됐고 그래서 러시아가 소련이 문을 닫은 거거든요. 근데 그걸 지금 대한민국에서 포기하지 않고 계속 그걸 활용을 하고 있습니다.
Historically, communism has been proven wrong through the disembarkment of the Soviet Union, but still people are holding on to it.
그 아는 사람이 많은데도 대응하고 뭉쳐서 싸우지 않으니까 결국은 소수의 좌파에 의해서 밀리고 지고 탄압받고 있는 겁니다.
Many people know the truth, but since they do not fight to protect themselves, they are unable to win against the fight against leftists, which are small in number.
I mean, you guys fought like a very serious war against communism, and it seems as though now, in a backdoor way, they're allowing communism back. I guess my question is, the children of individuals or the grandchildren that fought in the war, aren't these individuals, like the modern generation, the young people, realizing that all the bloodshed that happened to fight for freedom is being lost through this backdoor method?
Can I answer that one?
Yeah, sure.
So, when I was in Korea, what I noticed is the older people, 60, 70, 80 years old, remember the war. And they love Americans. And they know, hey, you came and you fought for us and you defended our liberty. And they're awake and they see themselves losing their country. The next group down, the next generation, are sort of like the children of the greatest generation in America. They're spoiled. They've gone to the Western schools.
Boomers.
They're exactly, and they think, oh, you know, it's all about money and success, and they're distracted by that, and they're all educated in Western kind of thought and left-leaning thought, and so the older folks see the threat of communism. The middle group, you know, they just want their coffee and their lattes, and then the younger group, they're coming alive dramatically. They don't like the government telling them what to do. And they haven't had a chance to get too corrupted by education. And so what's so interesting when you watch these massive demonstrations, just a few nights ago, 200,000 college students went on a march. Now, that's unheard of in America. And so they're waking up. So I think we've got an interesting situation. We've got the old who remember the war, and the young who realize they're losing their liberties. And the middle class is busy doing, the middle group is busy, you know, making a living or whatever. So that's kind of the shape of the demonstration.
Wow, interesting. Where do you see this problem fixing itself in the near future? What do you envision will happen in the near future with this problem?
This is a great question. Ask them. Yes, go ahead. Ask that question and ask them about the legislation that's about to be passed in July.
이 문제가 어떻게 전개될 것인지, 어떻게 해결될 것으로 생각하는지, 또 7월에 또 새로운 법안이 입법된다고 들었는데요. 그것과 관련해서 의견을 주시기 바랍니다.
대한민국은 지금 독재로 가고 있습니다.
South Korea is headed toward dictatorship.
독재를 통해서 법안도 자기들 마음대로 하고 사람들도 자기 마음대로 쓰고 반대편 사람들은 다 죽여버리고 지금 이렇게 하고 있습니다.
첫 번째가 뭐도 마음대로 한다고요? 첫 번째 법안. So because it's a dictatorship, they are passing laws that they want, and they are suppressing people who are dissenting, and they are using people who fulfill their wishes.
And this is sorry, go ahead.
그래서 결과적으로는 모든 걸 살다 장악했어요. 이 좌파가. 근데 우리가 대응을 못하고 흩어져 있습니다.
Ultimately, the leftist has seized all three powers, and the conservatives were not able to respond appropriately.
대한민국에서 거의 좌파의 폭정과 맞서 싸우는 사람이 저밖에 없어요. 여기 있는 분들, 이분들이 같이 하고 있고, 뭐 어떤 당이든 우파 정당이라 하는 것들도 반 국가 세력과 싸우지 않고, 뭐 민주당 같은 경우는 더 말할 것도 없겠죠. 그래서 대한민국을 지킬 힘이 없기 때문에 내가 탈당을 하고 창당을 해서 자유와 혁신을 만들었는데 이 세 당에는 지금 말씀하신 것처럼 젊은이들이 굉장히 많습니다.
So I think I'm virtually the only one, along with everyone here, everyone who is also fighting together with me, fighting against these anti-state forces. So there are parties like the Democratic Party and the PPP in Korea. However, they're not fighting at all. That's why I have set up a new party called the Freedom and Innovation. And as I mentioned before, the Freedom and Innovation is actually powered a lot by the young people.
우리 당에는 그 30대가 시도당 위원장을 하는 경우가 여럿이 있어요. 한 대여섯 군데 그렇게 돼 있습니다.
There are about 6 cases where the chair of the council in city provinces are young people in their 30s.
지금 투쟁도 잘합니다. 지금 잠실에서 싸우는 것도 사실은 우리 자유와 혁신 당원들이고 그런 젊은이들입니다.
And they're also good at fighting. Out of
Young people.
a lot of the people who are demonstrating at Jamsil in the Olympic Park are party members of Freedom and Innovation.
다만 신당이고 그렇기 때문에 사람이 많지 않아서 큰 세력으로 되려면 좀 시간이 필요한데 소수일지라도 우리는 할 일을 하고 그렇게 이제 해나가면서 자유 대한민국을 지키기 위한 노력을 하고 있습니다.
However, since it's a relatively new party, we are small in number. However, that doesn't mean that we are not playing our part. We are doing our utmost to protect and save the freedom in Korea.
예를 들면 가장 대한민국의 가장 문제가 될 수 있는 부정선거와 싸우는 것도 우리입니다.
For example, we are at the very front lines of election fraud.
우리 당 외에는 부정선거와 싸우는 정당이 없습니다.
There's no other party that fights against election fraud.
그리고 우리는 기존 정당이 하지 못하는 것들을 해나갑니다. 예를 들면 반국가 세력과의 싸움도 하고
And we engage in activities that other parties do not like, fighting against anti-state forces.
심지어는 나는 크리스천인데 교회에 대한 공격과 탄압에 대해서도 다른 당은 나서 싸우지 않는데 우리 당은 그걸 싸우고 있습니다. 교회를 지키기 위해서 싸우는 싸움에 과감하게 도전을 하고 있습니다.
I'm a Christian and our party also are boldly fighting to protect the churches. Other parties are not protecting the churches which are being oppressed in Korea.
그런데 다시 말씀드리면 우리는 그렇게 할 수 있지만 힘이 아직 부족해요. 그래서 이 정말 정의를 지키기 위한 세력, 힘이 필요한데 우리로 안 되니 미국에서 같이 해주면 좋겠다. 우리 혈맹이기 때문에 가치를 같이 하고 있는 정당이기 때문에 이걸 미국이 우리와 함께하면 좋겠다. 제가 그런 이야기를 계속하고 또 그런 목적으로 오늘 이번에 여기 왔습니다.
However, we are doing our best, but we have our limits. That's why we want the help and support from United States, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here, because we are blood allies and we would like the United States to also help Korea.
이런 최근 한국의 상황에 관해서는 프랭크 박사가 너무 잘 아세요.
Dr. Frank knows about the recent developments of South Korea better than anyone else.
There's something else that's very different about there than here that I think Americans need to understand. 140 years ago, there was a massive revival, religious revival, based in North Korea, the capital, and spread all over, a massive awakening, a religious awakening.
Christian
A
awakening.
Christian awakening, exactly. Then, when the Korean War happened, and we drove the communists back up above the 38th parallel, it became illegal to be Christian, and the North Koreans slaughtered all of the Christians. So it's illegal. If you're a Christian in North Korea, they slaughter you. Okay. So now think about Southern Korea, all the way down. All these churches, they see communism as a tangible threat to their existence. If communism comes in, then they will be slaughtered like it was in the North. So, starting the Freedom and Innovation Party, it's not just a movement of the young people. It's also churches, because they see communism as a threat to their existence. So that's an element that is very different than in our country. I don't think our churches see communism as a direct threat to their existence, but it is a very real thing. I was at a Methodist church there on a Sunday morning, huge Methodist church. They have 7 services. I mean, it's like a massive church. They're 10 minutes south of the border, and they feel right there. They feel the threat. They know if that line pushes down in whichever way, that it's big. So that's a big element to this, and that's one of the things I like about his party is he recognizes these elements. There's one other thing that's another interesting twist. The largest offshore military base in the world is in South Korea, Fort Humphreys. So that's a big deal because we put that there to fight back the communism. But we were fighting back the communism with a military presence. So what did the enemy do? They beat us with 5th generation warfare. What they couldn't take with bullets, they took with ballots. And so we really had the wrong defense. So what they're proposing is very exciting to me, because as you correctly pointed out, this is happening all around the world. Brazil, Venezuela, Peru, it's happening Armenia, it's happening everywhere. We need to engage the 5th generation war. Sure, we've got aircraft carriers and we're shooting bombs on people, but we need to also engage. And they're saying, please join us. Let's join together in this war.
When you say that, and this is for both of you, when you say engage in the 5th generation warfare, are we talking about culturally overcoming the communist propaganda that is influencing this Marxist dictatorship?
That would be one part of it.
Okay.
But how about this? We know that as former Prime Minister Obama mentioned, that they use electronic manipulation. What if we said as a country, we're not going to recognize your illegitimate government if you use those machines? That would be 5th generation warfare. We would be saying, you can't do this. We're going to make you cheat in other ways. But in other words, we can fight on that information warfront. And we have all kinds of levers we can use. Samsung is there. And we buy our chips for our military stuff from them. And most of our laptops and Samsung phones, they're made there. And Hyundai is big. So in other words, we have economic levers. So we have economic, political, we have other ways of fighting too. We can simply say, if you're going to run your elections in this non-transparent way, we're not going to recognize your new government. So, in other words, there are other ways to fight.
Is it? And I just have a question for that. So the goal would be to have the President of the United States,
Yes.
after this fraudulent election, say we're not recognizing this new government
Because it's fraudulent.
and diplomatic pressure for them to basically clean up their election fraud.
That would be fighting the 5th generation war without bullets.
Wow.
If we don't do that, what are we going to do? Just sit around and watch nation after nation fall like dominoes? What are we going to do? If we can't fight that with bullets. We have to fight that with another type of warfare, the generation warfare. So that's what they're proposing. And I love these people. They invited me over there and they said, please, let's combine forces. They see it, they feel the imminent threat, and they just watch their country go through a color revolution. And they just lost their country. And they're saying, are you going to help us or not? You shed blood here before. Hey, come on, let's go. And then also, while we're at it, let's take out AWEB and let's address this globally. They are inviting us to that fight. And I think America's been slow to that fight. They're ahead of us.
Yeah. Now, this sounds like a global criminal conspiracy. I mean, that's what it
100%.
sounds like, because when you're talking about what's happening in Korea with the people being influenced and people being docile and people forgetting the price of tyranny.
Yes.
Seems like it's very similar to what's happening in this country. I mean, what could you tell us about like how long this plan has been in progress, and has it been all coordinated? Because it feels like it's all coordinated.
So I just read a book. It's called The Silent Coup, written by someone who worked for the National Intelligence Service for 35 years. He's an insider, and he's documented all of the strategies that were used to infiltrate every branch of their government and to take over their government. And they have succeeded. And he walks you through. That book's going to appear next month. In fact, he gave me one of his draft copies. I was reading it on the plane coming here. It's illuminating. And for me, as an expert in America of our elections, watching them so carefully for so many years, I see the exact same strategies being used here as they used there to take over the country. If we don't wake up here, we're going to be in the same mess they are. And we kind of already are. We've already lost the state of Washington and Colorado, and I'm fighting really hard in Oregon. We might be getting that one back. But I'm fighting with fifth generation tactics rather than bullets. So, but I think as a country, I think we're slow to awaken. And I think we were just given it to us on a silver platter in South Korea because the NEC, the corrupt government agency that runs their elections, just told everybody, sorry, we're going to just keep the election the way it is, even though you all didn't get ballots. It's just like in your face. And when you talk to young people and you talk to them in their face, what do? They rise up. And so it was like they gave us a favor. Now we need to transfer some of that energy into Americans and help us realize. And hopefully tomorrow we've got a little stunt planned for tomorrow when we have them on the stage for this interview at the Fraud Fighter. We're going to have a little demonstration. We have some local Koreans that are going to come show us how to protest.
Wow, interesting. So, what do you see as like you're saying South Korea is heading into a dictatorship? I mean, how long is that process, and do you feel like there's a chance of saving South Korea from falling into dictatorship?
Like the July thing.
독재 정권으로 치닫고 있다라고 말씀하셨고 그 기간이 어느 정도로 잡고 있는지 또 한국을 과연 구할 수 있는지
언제부터 시작됐냐고 독재가
So when dictatorship will be complete or when did the dictatorship start?
Like when do you think they'll have what's the risk of the country being taken over by dictatorship and how long?
Are we in dictatorship now?
완전 독재 정권으로 보고 있는지 아니면은 독재 정권으로 완벽하게 이제 넘어가는데 얼만큼 걸릴 것으로 생각하는지.
나는 대한민국은 지금 독재 국가가 되었다고 봅니다. 우선 법안을 그래서 입법, 사법, 행정이 전혀 움직이지 못해요. 이재명만 움직이고 있습니다.
I believe the South Korea is now a dictator state because in Korea the three powers of legislative power, executive power, judiciary power are not 입법과 사법만
입법, 사법, 행정.
행정. That was right. The judiciary power, the legislative power, the executive power are not functioning. Only Lee Jae-myung, the current president, is maneuvering the government.
뭐 예를 들면 사법을 장악하는 방법으로서는 이거는 법을 동원하는 거예요. 그래서 재판 소원법이라는 걸 해가지고 3심 끝났는데 자유민주진영의 헌법 가치의 가장 중요한 것 중에 하나가 3심제거든요. 1심, 2심, 3심. 근데 그거 끝나도 사실상 4심제를 만들었어요.
For example, in the judiciary, they're trying to manipulate by enacting new laws. For instance, you're able to have 3 trials, and that's the basis of free democracy. Going to court once and then appealing, then going to the Supreme Court. But now they're trying to enact a law where they could have subsequent trials. So
Double jeopardy. They can just keep trying you until they,
그러니까
they can keep trying you until they get you. And if they don't like you, they can sue you for something that you did in the past that you're already acquitted of. In other words, it's a way for them to lawfare everybody into jail.
Wow.
이 정부가 검찰 제도 자체를 없애버리고 있어요.
and the current government is trying to eradicate the prosecution organization itself.
본래 검찰이라는 제도는 프랑스 혁명 때 만들어진 혁신적인 제도였습니다.
The prosecution was actually created during the French Revolution, and it was seen as innovative.
경찰을 견제하고 법원을 견제하는, 그래서 몽테스키어가 사람이 만든 제도 중에 가장 탁월한 제도다라고 말한 검찰 제도를 그냥 없애버렸어요.
It was a policy to play the role of a check against police and court. So Montesquieu said it is the best policy that has been created by human beings, but it has been scrapped.
뭐 법안들을 만들어 가지고 뭐 법 왜곡죄, 법을 왜곡하면 처벌한다고 하는 거, 말도 안 되는 법들을 막 만들어 가지고 법의 독재까지 이뤄가고 있습니다.
And they have also enacted very strange laws, like the law against distorting laws.
대한민국의 얘기해봐.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're
Say a law
The
against-
law against distorting laws. I mean, they're basically interpreting the laws any way they want now. It is a dictatorship, that's right. And the reason they feel desperate is because they have no recourse. You can't elect them out of office because they're cheating on the elections. You're stuck now with a totally corrupt government, and what are they going to do? They have no recourse. That's why they feel desperate for our help.
Brazil sounds like similar to what's happened in Brazil, maybe.
브라질의 경우와 매우 유사한 것 같은데.
네, 맞습니다. 그리고
Yes, it's true.
He agrees.
법으로 안 되면 법으로 안 되는 거를 규정, 법 다음에는 명 다음에 규정인데 그 규정으로 법을 뒤집어 버려요.
And if they cannot change the law, they just revise the rules. So there are laws underneath, there's order and then rules. So they just change the rules to suit their needs.
그리고 법원은 그걸 또 합리화해줘요. 맞다.
And the court rationalized these decisions, saying that it's correct.
뭐 이렇게 말하자면 뭐 밑도 끝도 없는데 제일 큰 문제 중에 또 하나는 교회를 억압하고 탄압하는 겁니다.
I cannot enumerate all the examples, but one of the most oppressive law is the law trying to close down religious organizations like churches.
다른 견제 세력들은 다 장악을 했어요. 근데 아직 잡지 못한 게 교회입니다. 그러니까 이제 교회 탄압에 나섰어요.
They took control over virtually everything else except the church. So they're trying to oppress church and try to make it submit by enacting this law.
코로나 19 코로나 사태 때는 교회가 예배를 못 드리게 했어요.
During the pandemic, the government stopped people from gathering to worship
예배를 드리면 처벌하고 있어요.
and punishing people for worshiping together.
그다음에 대형 교회들을 수사하기 시작했어요.
And now they're starting to investigate mega churches in Korea.
압수수색하고 소환하고 심지어는 구속까지 했어요.
They have carried out search and seizures in churches, summoned the pastors, and in some cases incarcerated the pastors.
마지막 견제 세력인 교회가 힘을 쓸 수 없게 이렇게 만들어 놓고 최종적으로는 교회 폐쇄법까지 좀 준비하고 있어요.
So they're trying to make the last force the churches powerless, and they're enacting a law that enables churches to be closed down and dissolved.
이런 것들이 독재가 아니고 뭐겠습니까?
What other things could be dictatorship if these are not a form of dictatorship?
It seems almost what you're mentioning about Christianity. There seems to be a battle between good and evil, servitude versus freedom.
100%.
That seems to be the ultimate goal, is to make everybody slaves.
교회에 대한 탄압을 말씀하셨을 때 선과 악의 전쟁인 것 같고 자유와 억압 간의 그 전쟁인 것 같은데 마치 목적이 모든 사람들이 구속되고 노예화시키는 것 같습니다.
그래서 덤비지 못하게, 정부에게 저항하지 못하게
Yeah,
그렇게 만들어 가는 겁니다.
they're trying to make people hard to resist or resist against the government. Making them
it so that people
powerless.
can't resist. They're making it so people can't resist, or they risk their churches getting shut down, or they go to prison.
Wow. I mean, I think my last question, unless you have any other questions.
No, I think this has been a great interview.
I wonder, I'm just looking at all these factors, right, where they're trying to, globally, there seems to be a march towards servitude.
Yes.
We have AI coming now, which is now monitoring people. I mean, seems to be we are at a very risky time in all of humanity, where I just don't know how it doesn't go into a very dark place, potentially eventually violent place, because people that are made into slaves will revolt. Eventually they're going to revolt. Where do you see, and this is more of a global perspective, but where do you see South Korea going, and where do you see the rest of the world going in this generation?
전 세계적인 그림을 볼 때 이 전체적으로 그 노예화 구속화되는 과정이 있는 것 같습니다. 예를 들어서 AI를 통해서 거의 모든 사람들이 모니터링이 되고 있고요. 또 전 인류가 아주 위험천만한 그런 리스크에 직면하는 그런 시기인 것 같습니다. 그렇다면은 이렇게 사람들이 노예화가 되면은 궁극적으로는 반란을 일으키고 폭력 사태가 야기될 것 같은데요. 전 세계적으로 한국은 어떤 방향으로 가고 있고 또 다른 나라는 어떤 방향으로 가고 있다고 생각하고 계십니까?
그러니까 두 그룹이 있겠죠. 하나는 저항하는 국민들이 많은 그런 나라가 있을 거고, 하나는 굴종하는 사람들이 많은 그런 나라가 있을 겁니다.
Well, there'll be two groups. A group of countries that have people who resist, and the other group of countries where people will submit.
근데 역사적으로 대한민국은 어려움이 올 때도 싸워서 결국은 정의를 세워냈던 그런 나라예요.
But historically, Korea has always fought, even amid difficulties, in order to uphold justice.
최근으로 말하면 6.25 전쟁이 났을 때 위기 상황이 되니까 그냥 교회가 다 들고 일어나고 해가지고 기도하고 또 전장에 나가고 거기 미국에도 구해서 미국이 또 같이 오게 하는, 이렇게 해서 위기를 극복했습니다.
And recently in the Korean War in 1950, all the churches got together to pray in this national crisis. And through prayer, help came in the way of the United States. And that's how we were able to overcome.
일제하에 있을 때는 많은 사람들이 죽어가면서 그래서 독립을 위해서 애썼습니다. 그런 분 중에 대표적인 것이 아실 수 있을 것 같은데 이승만 대통령 같은 분이죠.
And during the Japanese annexation period, many people lost their lives for the independence of Korea, and many people also fought for the independence of Korea, and one of which is Lee Seung-man, the founding president of the Republic of Korea.
그 이전으로 올라가도 대한민국은 의정부라고 해가지고 왕의 독재를 견제할 수 있는 시스템을 만들었던 나라입니다.
In the Joseon dynasty, they had a system called 의정부, so there were 3 heads of ministers who were able to take the power of the king.
지금 굉장히 대한민국 어렵지만 그러나 다시 살아날 것이고 바로 잡아갈 겁니다.
Although Korea is experiencing a crisis moment, I believe that Korea will be able to rise up
저는
and be saved.
이 일들이 조금이라도 좀 더 잘 이루어질 수 있게 하기 위해서 미국이 함께해야 된다. 미국이 좀 그 강력한 그런 목소리를 내야 된다. 이런 생각을 하고 있습니다.
So in order to enable this further, I believe we need help from the United States. We need the powerful voice of the United States backing.
많은 사람들이 뭐 걱정을 하는 사람도 있지만 나는 결정적인 개입을 해야 된다. 이렇게 생각을 합니다.
A lot of people are concerned, and I believe that the United States have to intervene decisively.
깨어있는 기독교인, 깨어있는 정치인, 그리고 미국과 함께 그렇게 하면 우리 대한민국 다시 되살아날 수 있다.
think
그렇게 생각합니다.
Korea could be revived by Christians who are awake, politicians who are awake, and also by being together with the United
그
States.
모델의 하나를 지금 이제 우리가 잠실 그 올림픽 공원에 있는 아까도 무슨 핸드볼 경기장 거기에 정말 굉장히 많은 사람들이 모여서 우리에게 자유를 달라. 내 참정권을 지켜야 된다. 이렇게 싸우고 있습니다.
And you could see a model example in the people who have gathered to demonstrate and protest around the handball gymnasium in Olympic Park, crying out for freedom and their rights to vote.
그동안 아무도 생각하지 않았던 그런 큰 세력이 된 겁니다. 이것이 그 자유민주 대한민국을 지켜낼 거라. 나는 큰 힘이 될 것이다. 이렇게 생각합니다.
They have become a formidable force that nobody had foreseen, and I believe they will be the people who will protect the freedom in Korea.
그때 우리 프랭크 박사가 오셔가지고 큰 힘을 주셨어요.
And Dr. Frank came personally and gave lots of encouragement and strength to the people there.
It was amazing. Just being an American, the hope it gave them. Just to walk into a crowd of 50,000 people and they're like, it's USA, USA, and they're flying American flags and Korean flags. It's awesome. So he's right, there's hope, but they really do need us. They need some help, and we should. But I just wanted to repeat something he said that just blew me away. I wrote it down, and I'm going to put this in my presentations. He said, there will be countries that will resist, and there will be countries that will submit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said that South Korea is going to be one of those that resists. They love their liberty, they love their freedom, and so do we. But we're not resisting very much.
No.
And so I think that's what needs to happen. We need to wake up and resist alongside with our other resistors.
Wow. So I mean, in summary, they're basically trying to make South Korea North Korea.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Fair.
Like that's. Do you mind asking? Like they're trying to make South Korea become North Korea.
That's
more or less.
그냥 핵심적으로 말하면은 남한을 북한처럼 만들려고 하는 거죠.
이런 작업들이 6.25 전쟁 끝나고 나서 완전히 이제 패망하고 나서 불과 한 10년, 20년 지나면서부터 다시 재개가 돼가지고 그 소위 혁명을 위한 준비를 쭉 해왔습니다. 소위 의식화 교육이라고 하는 이름으로 이루어졌죠. 오래 준비된 거죠. 싸움도 힘들 것입니다. 그러나 나라를 공산국가로 만들 수 없다는 확고한 생각을 가진 국민들이 많기 때문에 결국 아까 말씀드린 이런 여러 가지 방법들을 이용해서 결국 대한민국은 정상으로 자유민주 대한민국으로 세워질 겁니다.
Well, North Korea has been preparing for a long time. Actually, they tried to communize South Korea through the Korean War, and after they virtually lost the war, within 10 years, they started to prepare to communize South Korea by indoctrinating the young people through education. And they've been very systematic and well prepared. So it'll be a tough fight, it'll be a difficult fight, but we will continue to fight so that we will be able to keep democracy in South Korea.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I appreciate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Frank.
You're welcome.
Much
Honored to be with
appreciate
you
you,
guys.
sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the wonderful translating. Appreciate you. Thank
So
you.
which this mic
Thank you.
is yours.
Thank you. Yeah.
거기 쭈그리고
no,
앉아
this is
있느라고
not-
고생 많았습니다.
No, it's
other
not
one.
yours.
Yep.
저 밑에 쭈그리고 있느라고 수고 많았어요.
Thank you for squatting.
This is amazing. Sorry, let me take this.
I experienced the color
And
revolution.
then that one's mine. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. For,
Yeah,
I want to
And to see it actually
So you have
happen,
to
to see how the gears turning. Dude, my
와이프가 듣고 있다가
and you guys, you know, you've been in it for so
시간
long.
지난 기절해.